Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine and Real Estate.
Oui, bonsoir tout le monde.
So tonight we're excited. We have a great guest, Demetri from Hamilton.
Yes.
And can't wait to hear about his story as well and learn what he's drinking. So we're going to drink to that. Cheers. Welcome,
Yes.
Demetri.
Cheers, guys.
Chin. What are you drinking tonight, Demetri?
I'm actually drinking. It's this little winery here in Beamsville, Ontario. It's called Romanello from Villa Romana. So he kind of has three blends, a couple Cabernets and a Merlot. Well, a little small winery I visited, so we kind of like their wine and been drinking it recently. So
excellent.
Oh, cool.
So in Beamsville, and I think I said Hamilton, but where's home?
I'm actually in Stony Creek, which is part of
Okay.
Hamilton, and the Beamsville's kind of like there's a lot of little wineries around that area, kind of near wine country, and in our area, that Niagara region is pretty big for that here in our area.
It is.
Cool.
Is it good for tourism as well? Because we're looking at a potential Airbnb there. So.
Oh yeah, it's great. A lot of people, a lot of Americans actually come up and do wine tastings all the time and stay in Airbnbs and stuff like that. So it's a great area for that, Beamsville area, and just the whole Vineland area there.
Excellent.
Cool.
And so tell us about yourself. You were telling me on the phone you've been an investor for a while. Can you tell us what you've invested in and how you've done it?
Sure. Yeah. So I started in investing when I was 24. When I finished college, I saw people renting, student rentals, and so my first property was a student rental. Ironically, it was one that I hung in a lot with some friends at the time. So I started with that. So
Cool.
started in student rentals, and then I got into some single family dwellings, started renting those, and then got into duplexes. So I was kind of doing that more in my 20s, and then I kind of transitioned into multifamily. So multifamily mixed use basically is what I mainly invest in, and I do flips as well on single family homes and some duplexes. But for my buy and holds or BRRRRs, I'm usually doing like a multifamily. So that's kind of what I started in, and along that journey, I was in electrical engineering, so I was doing designing automated machinery and project management, and from there I opened up my own contracting company in automation and electrical, and I ran that for between 7 to 10 years with two different companies, and then sold the last company in December that just passed, and rolled full-time into real estate, taking the realtor's course as well, and that's kind of what I've been doing on the last year. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying it, and that's
excellent. Congratulations too. It's a recent that Demetri's become a realtor, so how, it's more commercial. I think you're focusing on small multifamily.
So yeah, I'm basically more of an investor-focused realtor. So I help people with anything from buy and holds to BRRRRs and flips. It doesn't really matter the size, but generally most of the investors that I'm helping are looking for stuff with 3 units minimum up to about 15 units. Seems to be the sweet point here in Hamilton. So those are the ones that I'm working with clients on currently.
Interesting. So you're a realtor in Hamilton. Are you also investing yourself in Hamilton? Is that kind of the area and the market that you are leaning towards?
Yeah, so I invest in Hamilton. That's mainly where I've been investing. Most of the time that I've been investing. I did dabble a little bit in the Windsor market. I had a fourplex and a duplex there for a little while, and sold those probably about 3 years ago, but it was a good market as well. For me, it's just I like Hamilton the best. I like the fundamentals, and the LRT is coming here in the city, and there's very diverse economy and employment. and everything like that. So the fundamentals are just good for me, and that's why I like investing in this area. It's provided good returns for myself, my wife, and we have some joint venture partners in this as well. So it's done well for everybody.
Oh, it's interesting. So what are the kind of market fundamentals when you're looking at Hamilton, or for maybe people who are thinking about Hamilton?
Yeah, so the reason why I like Hamilton is because like one of the largest employers, McMaster University, so they employ a lot of people. So there's a lot of healthcare, a lot of technology coming into Hamilton as well. There's it's an industrial town as well. So there's steel,
Yes.
We remember.
yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of family businesses as well, and it's very heavy now in construction. A lot of Torontonians, especially, are moving to Hamilton, so they're building a lot of new subdivisions, and there's a lot of commercial plazas going up and stuff like that. So it's providing a lot of job in the construction industry. So it's very diverse. So the good news is that it's certainly going to make that housing market a little bit better, and so that's why I like it here.
Yeah, it's a
Cool.
city with so much potential. We actually lived in Hamilton. We're gonna reveal our age. 1999 to like 2001. Then we moved again from London to there, 2003 or so. So we lived there 2 or 3 years total. And the city, I mean, has changed quite a bit. It used to be very kind of poor and depressed, especially downtown where we lived. That's why we moved there, because it was a bargain back then. But the scenery is beautiful. Hamilton, the mountain and the escarpment, the location between Toronto and Niagara region is just insane. And the GO trains, I remember, were just starting back then. The LRT, I really hope they build something better than what they did in Ottawa. It's been down for a month and there's no plans to restart the LRT here. So it's quite sad, but it has sparked a ton of development. So I'm sure the same will happen in Hamilton. I think they're replacing the B line, the old bus route, the express that we used to take. You remember that? So it's going to be a train of some kind, light rail train. So
okay. Is the LRT going to be going to Toronto? Is that the idea? Or?
No, inside the city, like probably from Dundas to Stony Creek or something.
Yeah, it's somewhere around McMaster University, and it's actually going to go all the way to the east end around Eastgate Mall. Which is near Centennial Parkway is the plan. So it's going to run right along King Street and then along Queenston. So it's a great area to be investing around the LRT as well. And it's an area I like to invest in the Hamilton east and central area downtown. So it's exciting for investors in the area for sure. And
did the city do, like here they rezoned everything along the corridor? So if it was a single house, it's now zoned R4 or something, so you can build a fourplex and big towers. And
so yeah, they started doing. They're a little bit more lenient in some areas now, where they're allowing more than one unit or 2 units in certain areas without the parking downtown for sure, along where the LRT is going to run. But Hamilton is very tough on zoning, so it's a work in progress, I would say.
Okay, they didn't give a freebie to investors.
yeah. Took them a long time just to approve the LRT, so I'm sure they won't be very quick on the rest of the stuff. But we're hoping that we're going to see some good zoning changes in the future.
Is any of it going underground, or it's all above ground?
It's all above ground here.
Okay. Yeah. Like here we have a 3-kilometer tunnel, but the rest is above ground.
Yeah, we've been waiting for it for a long time. It's all above ground, and there is a lot of buildings like kind of just along the King Street area where the stations were going to be that were bought up and boarded up, and nothing's happened with them for a couple of years. So I think now that people know the shovel's going to go in the ground, they're saying next year, so 2022. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot more momentum and more construction happening, and should be a good thing. Or for Hamilton for sure, bring a lot of jobs.
Yes,
that's awesome. So to go back to investing, Demetri, can you tell us a little bit about like the properties that you invested in Hamilton? Like, are they able to cash flow, or are you banking more on equity?
But What's the strategy? Because price points are quite high.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah,
they're
that's no
high.
problem. Yeah, the price points certainly are a lot higher. I do like the burst strategy the best. That's certainly
Okay.
my favorite. And my properties all do cash flow. I generally look for something that's undervalued. Right now, it is a little difficult, this seller's market.
Yeah.
But I have found a few of my recent deals off market. So that did help as well. However, I have found a lot of good ones on MLS as well. It all depends on what what you're willing to do that others aren't, or what you see that others aren't. And for example, like it might be like a triplex that is tenanted, and an investor may be worried that those tenants aren't going to move in order to renovate and force the appreciation. So if you're a little patient and you know how to kind of move those tenants out politely, then you can get a better, a little bit better value on the price. And sometimes I look for things like, maybe there's a garage that, the current owner didn't see the potential of renting, or, it could have been something like that, like a loft space that they could have made a unit. And I kind of just look for those type of things that someone else didn't see. Maybe there's a potential to pay for parking spots or lockers, or put coin laundry in the basement. And that's basically what I do, is I add value to the property so that when I do go for an appraisal, that I can get a better valuation, better appraisal, and then make the BRRRR work perfectly. So that's kind of what I've been doing in this market. It's a bit tougher than it was 2-3 years ago, finding a little bit better deal. But that's my main strategy. But then I also do some flips, like I mentioned too. So I will do those.
Cool. Yeah, because there's tons of beautiful older homes in Hamilton that have been let go. Like we used to live in one on Sherman Ave. It was beautiful, but I mean, nothing was fixed for many, many years. So I'm sure those are like, there could be excellent flips. Is that kind of where you're doing flips, or?
Yeah, for my flips, I recently did a duplex, but generally I like to do starter homes.
Okay.
I look for something that someone may have been living there for a very long time. It's very dated, and I can get a fair value on it, and then I renovate it and look for that first time home buyer. So that's worked well for us, and we'll probably continue to do flips and with single families.
That's really smart, because I mean, the first time home buyers can also appeal to other types of buyers. You're not limiting yourself with like a luxury product or something that's more prone to cycles and real estate. So that's
Yeah,
great.
and the new home buyers are the millennials, and they're kind of getting married and starting to have children, so they're looking for those starter homes, the ones that are getting out of being renters, of course. So we kind of look at what they want, and we kind of put that in the homes: pot lights, quartz countertops, really nice finishings, and the colors that they want to see, and USB receptacles, and all the goodies that they're looking for, and it works well. So
yeah. So are you actually doing like the flips yourself, like swinging the hammer and?
No, I don't. We have a whole team. So from a realtor to a home inspector, contractors, and generally speaking, sometimes I'll hire a general contractor, and sometimes I'll general the job to a degree and use certain trades. If I feel that I don't need the general contractor to kind of babysit those trades, and that's kind of how we're handling it. So we have a pretty good team here that we use in Hamilton.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, and you said joint ventures. So I guess you don't self-finance. How do you structure your joint ventures? We do a lot of them. So I was curious to hear how others are doing them.
I guess ours is kind of the conventional way, but what we generally do is because we have the experience and the power team, and been doing this for a long time. We're kind of the working partner. So the joint ventures that we bring into this into our partnership, they generally are the money partner. So they come in as a 50% money partner. So they basically just come up with the capital, and then generally they'll qualify for the mortgage if the property has less than 4 units. And then we basically execute the whole project, do the construction, tenant it, and deal with everything, and right to the appraisal and the refinance. And then once we refinance the property, we return the capital to our partner. So the whole idea is to be getting our partner getting all their money back is generally our strategy. Or at least, in today's market, sometimes it's 90%.
Most of it.
Yeah, very close though. And then what we'll do, if it's 90%, then we generally will use the cash flow, the positive cash flow from the property to pay back our partner first before we take any cash flow. And that's kind of our strategy. And then we remain 50-50 equity partners, split the cash flow. And our hold is about, we do our holds for 5 years. And then in 5 years' time, we can reevaluate whether we want to refinance it or sell the property, or, at that time, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, cool.
Excellent. And what kind of people are you partnering with?
So a lot of times it's someone that has equity in their home. Like, or if someone has cash, that's great. But in Hamilton, you generally need about, between 250 to 350,000 to kind of do like a multi, like I'm going to say a triplex or fourplex, I'll just use that for the purpose of this conversation. Just, like with the down payment, 20%, and then the renovation costs, because renovations costs have gone up with material costs last year. So a little bit more expensive. So generally somebody that has a lot of equity in their home is generally a partner that we're partnering with right now, because they could use a HELOC and a HELOC on their home and use that to kind of finance the project. And then when the project's complete, they can pay back their HELOC. So essentially the return on their investment is quite high. When the BRRRR is completed, it's, in theory, infinity, when your money's back in your pocket. And also, they've only had to pay the interest on that HELOC. So it's a pretty good return.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. So that's generally how we structure them. It works really well for us, like with at least 3 units, 3+ units. If they're doing a BRRRR on a building that has more units, it's just going to take a little longer. Like typically it's about 6 to 8 months, but with if you're doing something with 8+ units, it could be a little over a year. But if you're only paying interest on your HELOC, it's still a great return, as opposed to dumping that money in the stock market.
Yeah, it's a much better return for sure. Yeah. So are you also self-managing your properties, or do you
we have used property management for some of our properties, and currently we are managing the majority of our properties ourselves. So we have a company called Comfort Living Properties. We have a website, and it kind of talks about our joint ventures, but we use our company to manage our portfolio and our joint ventures portfolio. And it works quite well. So we outsource some tasks like leasing and contracting and stuff like that. But in terms of managing the finances, we do that in house. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for managing all that? Like if you have multiple joint venture partners, we know all about it. It can get tricky. I mean, you need to report to your partners, and
it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. So
yeah.
But my wife helps, and we have other help as well. But it's using the right software. Like use QuickBooks or use a good CRM program to manage things is the key to things. We never had these programs years ago, and we do today. There's all kinds of great CRM programs and just programs to manage your expenses. So we kind of do that. Like there's Property Vista and software packages like that, where the tenants will pay you rents, directly into direct deposit, and then the software kind of does all the paperwork for you. So it kind of streamlines things a little bit. So that's kind of the tip I give to kind of help, is to get a good software program as you're kind of progressing.
That's a good idea. So how did you end up also becoming a real estate agent? I mean, where do you find the time?
I think you have kids as well. So,
To be honest, when I was running my own contracting business before, that actually took up a lot of my time. So because I was doing I was doing renovations for a lot of investors, we were into electrical contracting, so we separated meters and rewired place. So so I felt like I was doing 100 projects all the time. So now when I'm doing my own projects, it's it's down to a few. So it certainly freed up a lot of my time, and I became a realtor because I found that there wasn't a lot of realtors that knew how to work with investors. And doing investing for so many years, I felt that I could do that for myself and also help others, to find good properties, and that's kind of why I rolled into it. So to answer your question, I actually have more time now, not running my contracting company, so it kind of helps. And as time goes on, of course, I'll get more help if I do need an assistant or something in what I do. But right now, it's fairly comfortable. So,
Oh, awesome.
Excellent. Then you chose EXP. What did you like about EXP as a brokerage? Or
yeah, I like ESP. It's kind of like a new movement, and I'm going to say in real estate, where it's a cloud-based realty.
Yeah.
And so you don't really pay royalties, and the agents kind of own the company to some extent. So on every deal that you do, you can actually take 5% and buy stock. So they're actually a publicly traded company on NASDAQ.
Oh, wow.
And so they also have something similar to Keller Williams, like a revenue sharing program. So as you can sponsor other agents. So as I build my team, I can sponsor others, and you actually get a percentage of the brokerage's split that they take from the agent gets paid to you. So because there's no brick and mortar offices like traditional brokerages, you actually get the full revenue share. So that's why it's very attractive to a lot of agents now. So I can actually work with people that I sponsor and train them. And a lot of realtors sometimes don't want to spend time there because they feel like they're not getting something out of it. But as that agent produces, you're actually getting a percentage of that small bit of revenue. So that's why a lot of agents are moving this direction, because they can build a team and get a bit of revenue sharing too as well.
Oh, it's cool.
That's why it's attractive to me, and I like technology, and their brokerages is cloud based, so you just kind of enter the brokerage online, and you get all the help you need and everything like that. So so far it's been great. I can't complain.
Cool. I think you use Verbella quite a bit, Jennifer. I don't know if you're familiar.
Okay.
It's the virtual world. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And you kind of just you can sit in any auditorium and get your training, or if you want to talk to somebody about anything related to real estate in the brokerage, you just go to that department, and someone's always there. So it's pretty neat. It's I think it's the future of real estate, and there is some copycat brokerages starting up in
yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, but EXP is really what took some other brokerages to do in 40 years, they've done it in 10. So
oh my,
it's just technology, right? So yeah.
Oh wow, it's amazing.
The world's changing a lot.
With technology, absolutely. It's like this, we're doing these podcasts on video calls. I remember when we were talking about video calls and using what was it called, Skype, in the early 2000s. It seemed all modern and this is so cool, Skype, and now
it kept cutting out.
Skype. So yeah, it's like Zoom. I was using Zoom for years, and then with the pandemic, people are like, "Oh, Zoom, I have never heard about it." Well, now everybody knows about Zoom.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what's next for you, Demetri? Like what do you have planned for 2022? Because that is coming up fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my plans basically is to really dive a little deeper into the real estate and kind of get more into some more joint ventures. Of course, I want to be able to help other people. I'm going to say live life on their terms. You've
Yeah.
heard that before, and what I've achieved, I want to help others do, and that's kind of my goal for 2022 is through joint ventures and through actually being a realtor is helping people find those good properties to achieve their goals in life. And I just think real estate's one of the best investment vehicles in my opinion. So if I can help others achieve financial freedom or build that generational wealth through real estate, that's exactly what my plans are for 2022.
You're gonna live by Zig Ziglar's word. If you help enough people, I think, achieve their dreams or something, you can get anything you want in life. So that's excellent. That's
Exactly.
what I love about the real estate community. Most people are quite giving and very friendly and helpful. And there are properties everywhere. Like Hamilton has how many properties? It's gonna take a while before you run out of properties. And even though it's a hot market, people are still doing deals in Toronto, and that's a crazy market. And Ottawa, where we are, it was nuts. There used to be like 20 or 30 properties for 1 million people that were for sale, and people still managed to find deals. So it is doable.
Yeah, and your town is rated, according to the Real Estate Investment Network, #1 town to invest in Ontario. So,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
great place to be. And Hamilton's actually #3, so I'm happy about that too.
Pretty good.
It's great to be in the top 10, and I think anywhere in Southern Ontario is just a great place to invest right now. And
Yeah, it's booming.
Mm-hmm.
as people immigrating to Canada, they want to go to those areas, Toronto, Ottawa, and bigger cities to live in. That just helps investors.
That's all the amenities and jobs. I mean, well, now it doesn't seem to be a problem, but for a while, unemployment was an issue like 20 years ago. Not anymore. It's the opposite. It's hard to get people or staff. Jennifer knows all about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can find staff, then it's great. So
yeah, I'm definitely hearing that for some contractors here in Hamilton too, that they are having some issues finding good talent in their companies. So I think that's going to be a bit of a problem for a little while, but hopefully that improves as immigration comes in.
yes, like one funny tidbit this morning, I was on Facebook, of course, and I saw this article in Great Britain. This is a total sidebar, but Tesco, it's a big grocery store. They opened a first store where there's no cashier. It's not even self-checkout. There is no checkout. Like Amazon in the States, you walk in, take what you want, and leave. The payment happens on its own. And then people there were complaining about job losses. But in Canada, I think it would be the opposite, because we'd be like, whoa, people can fill other jobs because you can't get staff to fill most positions. So it seemed like a very different thing happening in Europe versus what's going on here.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So Demetri, if people want to get a hold of you and work with you, what's the best way to reach you?
They can reach me at 289-456-5896. They can call me directly, or Demetri.Boundris@exprealty.com. And yeah, I'm happy to chat with anybody about real estate. I really enjoy it, and we'll be doing it for many years, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your story and knowledge. I don't know if you had like a final word of advice or something you want to share with our listeners.
Yeah, I think people that are in the beginning investing in real estate, sometimes you get that fear factor. And what I say is, sometimes you keep listening to podcasts or reading books and all this, and always saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. So my advice is take action, do it today. Today's always the best time to invest in real estate, and you know, buy a property and you know, take action. This is my advice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so true.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure. We'll let you drink your wine. I don't think you had a sip.
Yes.
Oh, I did.
You did? Okay, good.
I've done it a few times.
Well, cheers, everybody.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
A pleasure.
Pleasure.